Hello, everybody. It's your boy, Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, here today with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because we are less than 2 weeks away from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And for those who may not be aware, Xenoblade Chronicles is one of my favorite video game series of all time. Both Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 are in my top 10 games of all time. Absolutely adore these games. And X is also really freaking good, but I never finished it. I kind of want to, but kind of up against a time crunch with 3 coming out soon. So, I want to talk about 2, though, because I want to completely talk about, right, why I love this series so much, but I can't do it in one video. So, what I'm going to do is a few things. This is going to be the beginning of a mini-series where I just play through the game and ramble about my thoughts for both 2, 1, and Torna. So that's what I'm going to do. Not going to do like a complete playthrough, just like play through a little bit of the game here and give my overall impression, my overall review.
What have we here?
The stuff that comes to mind immediately. And then, what we're going to do is I've already started writing the script and recording this. A multi-part review and overview of the entire story and game for both 1, 2, and Torna. I've already started the scripting for 1. I'm mostly finished with the first video.
Come out.
Because I've already started recording that bit. So we're going to go through the gameplay, we're going to go through the environments, the story, the music, and basically the entire story, because I need to talk about the spoilers for all these games, because the stories are so good, the characters are so well developed, and so great to be with. The worlds are so engrossing. I mean, look at this. This is probably even one of the lesser zones. Like, let's go to, say, by the way, full spoilers. So let's say we go to, let's just rip it and go with left area. Let's go to left area, right here, Regine Harbor. Let's just go here. Because every zone is a banger. Where you just want to be in it because they're so beautiful. The music's so good to accompany them. Like, look at this. The fact that these games are on a Switch, right? The sheer size, the scale of the world, the color scheming, the art design, the art direction, mob design. It's all so good. It's all just so well done and well executed. And I know 2 has its problems. I understand that. It's still in my top 5 games of all time. Because that's how much I love this game. Where, even despite its flaws, which 2 has many of, the high points, the good about this game, is so good. Is so great, even. That I don't mind the issues. Like, the gacha sucks, right? Like, we can all agree that rolling for blades is probably the worst aspect of this game. At the same time, I only have 2 blades that I don't have yet. This one is Elma that you get through the combat dungeon area, which I'm going to do on stream, by the way. Another announcement for you all. And the other is Theory, who you get in a quest that I've already done, and I just have to fight things to unlock it. So I essentially have access to all the gacha blades, including this jabroni, Cosmos. Now, those who may not be aware, Cosmos is the rarest blade in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Basically, the one with the lowest gacha rate that you don't have pity for. She was the last character I got through the gacha. She's also really freaking powerful.
Medical systems up.
But what the issue with the gacha is acquisition. Once you have these characters, that's where the strength of the blade system really comes into its own, in my opinion, and really shines and gives you a distinct playstyle from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Because I do enjoy the combat from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I do. when I was playing through the game, I even thought I might enjoy it more than 2. I don't after replaying 2. But the blade system, when you're just playing around with it, is so fun and engaging. Because unlike a lot of RPGs, right, where you get gear, like even this game has gear, where you have accessories and you have talent trees and stuff like that. But unlike a lot of RPGs that stop there, the main source of your power comes through these blades. They define your role, they define the stats you get, they define the abilities you can use. And what I really enjoy about them is that they have personality, they have character, they have their own individual heart-to-heart moments, which are basically little areas where you go to and get dialogue for these characters with other main party characters that expand either their character, their backstory, or how they're feeling at that current moment in time, or give you a little bit of extra lore about the area you're in. I love the heart-to-heart system. It's so good. It's one of the things about Xenoblade Chronicles I love the most. But you don't just have that, because with 2, you also get Blade Quests, which are essentially side quest chains, or side quest stories, for at least most of the blades that are in the game. Like, you don't get side quest stories for the New Game Plus characters that you get, which are essentially the Torna characters. So, let's go find them real quick. So, essentially, your Arcos, your Petroka, your Mikhail. I don't think Obrona, Petito, Cressidas, or Sever have DLC story. I don't think they do. They have heart-to-heart moments, which are kind of funny, because Petroka is literally a dance machine. But these side quests help fill out the world. They fill out the roster of characters that you have. Some suck, sure. Like, I'm not that big on Dahlia's quest chain, for instance. That's just personal preference. But there are others that I do really enjoy. I think Xenoblade was pretty cool. Cosmos was okay. I thought Harold's was really good. Let's see. Ursula's sucks. It's the worst one in the game, because you're basically grinding Merc missions, which we'll talk about in a bit. Praxis and Furious questline, probably one of the best in the game, because I think you get Praxis from it as well, for the first bit. And it's essentially 2 quest chains that focus on these 2 characters, and I really like that. I loved Dagus' story. Like, I'm a big Dagus supporter, right? I love Dagus. Wolfric's just the most wholesome, giant, like, Cthulhu demon ever. All the Poppy quests are ace. I love all of them. And they're just fun. They give you decent rewards, but you don't even do them for the rewards. You do them for the experience. You do them to learn more about these characters, because characterization is one of Xenoblade's strong suits. It has a great roster of characters that you all adore and you love. And it's so good. And again, the world design, I mean, come on, look at this. The giant cloud wall, the cloud sea, such a unique visual. Where you can look at this and we can immediately, Xenoblade Chronicles tip. The use of color here. The greens, the browns, the different shades of greens and browns. The fact we're on living things. Now, let's talk about Ursula's thing, because Merc missions suck. They feel like they were designed for mobile games. I don't know why they added this into the game. Please don't do it again. Or at least, the Merc missions themselves are fine. It's just Ursula's side quest, with essentially 10-minute little missions you send off your blades to go do, just to grind stats for Ursula. That's for her quest chain. They suck. What's nice about the side quest, about the Merc missions I mean, though, is this. Because you have a lot of characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You have a lot of blades. You aren't meant to use all of them. But what you can do is use the extra ones, the ones that you don't use, send them out on these missions, and you can gain the affinity tree passively from doing that. So you're also getting rewards, you're getting to further the Merc mission questline, which is pretty decent. But you also help build out and flesh out your roster of characters so you can play around with them without having to dedicate a lot of time grinding affinity and grinding these individual affinity perks for them. It's so good! Like, there's a nice synergy there.
This will be fun.
Where it seems like multiple elements of the game work together to increase the overall experience. It's just the Ursula quest itself freaking sucks. Like, the story itself is okay, like, she becomes an idol. Like, sure, okay, like, the shy girl becomes an idol. Okay, I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with, I have to do this, I want, like, each of these quests give you about 1 at the start and then 2 stamps. You need to get, like, 99, I think, for all 3 stats, for vocal, looks, and soul. So you're doing these over and over and over again, and then when a concert mission pops up, you have to go do that one, because that's the one you actually have to grind for, but concerts only pop up if you have certain numbers of these stamps. It's annoying. It sucks. I hate it. But, like I said, it's a very low point for the game. But the strengths of the game overall, God, it just blows it out of the water where I don't mind.
As long as I get to fight.
I'm going to send them out. Let's go with a Brona here. Let's send Crosset as well. Cool. Wonderful. Just send them out. I'll have them back in like 10 minutes or so. Yeah, 9 minutes. And I just love the game. Like I said, Tiger, which I've covered in another video, which is how you essentially grind out Poppy. Let me go over to Tor. Tor is a unique mechanic where if you want to gear up your Poppy blades, which are unique to him, you have to play this like stupid Atari minigame. It sucks, but Poppy's really fun to play around with and recustomize because she's easily the most customizable blade because of Poppy Swap, which allows you to basically interchange whatever here. You can make her a tank, I can make her an invasion-focused tank, a defense-focused tank, I can make her luck-based, I can make her DPS-based, whatever. There's so many different things you can augment. Her elements you can augment as well. So many customizable things here for Poppy. Well, that's cool. Acquisition sucks. And I hope to get better with that with 3. But let's talk combat. Because, oh my god. First of all, do not play on the quote-unquote hard mode. It sucks. At least unless you have like a full... Let's talk about it, right? When I first did New Game Plus a couple of years ago, I had it set to Bringer of Chaos, which was the DLC additional difficulty mode they brought into the game because the base mode was kind of too easy, especially if you like grinded and min-maxed. So Bringer of Chaos essentially made the game exponentially harder. And a lot of the boss design overall I thought was better because you actually had to deal with mechanics. The problem was with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the mechanics of the game don't really come from the bosses themselves, it comes from the party interacting with each other. So Bringer of Chaos, basically making each of those boss mechanics far more deadly, kind of annoying when one of the bosses you fought was the entire mechanic was essentially they threw a missile down that you had a DPS down, or otherwise it would explode and do a ton of damage if you were near it. That was essentially the entire mechanic of that fight, and it kind of just made the overall thing a slog. So I brought it down to normal. And I've been enjoying it a lot more. If I were to play this game again on another New Game Plus, I'd probably do Bringer of Chaos, because I've grinded. I'm level 99. I have an S plus Mithra with a Moon Matter chip and like decent Ox, right? Which are essentially little equipment you can give to each of your blades. So my Mithra's pretty good. My Poppy is about to become really freaking powerful once I get these last talents out the way. But it's, again, the customization. When customization is done right in games, it becomes so engrossing. And I care about it. Because I'm like, oh, I want to max out this character. I like playing around with this character. I want to basically complete this character and get the best stuff for them. So I don't mind grinding stuff out like that. If the characters are fun, if the customization is fun, and if the combat is fun. Because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 combat is really fun. Especially on normal, when you can use a lot of the mechanics. In fact, let's go over to Araya, to Alethra Ruins. Let's go to the Playhouse. Why? Because there is a system here where a lot of the quote-unquote end game actually lies. The bosses out in the overworld are mainly just there for grinding, to get you your end game equipment. This, right here, this is where you go test all that stuff out on. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, so the first game, has this as well, where it's essentially a combat dungeon scenario, where you do a bunch of combat-focused challenges on rounds. You do them, and you get this specialty Nopon, like, stone currency that you can exchange for, basically, additional food. You can change it for different currencies that are only used here. And then you get a bunch of, like, essentially costumes, which are what these are. I haven't bought any yet. You can also get some, like, stuff for Poppy as well, which is nice. And the thing I really like about New Game Plus, as a side, for a moment, is how it kind of incentivized to play through it again. Because a lot of the really rare master mods for Poppy that define her role, so, like, the thing that makes her the best tank, or the best DPS, you can buy that with extra XP you earn, like, throughout the game. It's a really nice system. Because they are very rare to get from the Atari game, but you can just buy them with XP. So I really like that. There's a whole bunch of different blades, like the ones I showed you earlier, those were all DLC blades. You get them in New Game Plus. It's something I really like. Where, yeah, it's overall the same game, but there's new stuff you can do throughout it. Now, I haven't really delved into the challenge battles all that much. I'm going to, though. I'm going to do it on stream as well. Because, where is she? Where are you? Otherworldly fighter. I think that's the one. Because you get a character from Xenoblade Chronicles X called Elma. And you get 2 blades specifically in here. You can only use in here. I think you can unlock them later on for use in regular game. Go over to Morag, though. Swap out Corvin. And you get Shulk, who's the pro tag from Xenoblade 1. And you get to use him, and he has his own mechanic in here. And you can use Fiora, who is also really strong. I forget who she's good on. I think you use Elma on Rex, and I think you use Fiora on either Nia or Zeke. I forget which. I think it's Zeke. So I'm going to pop her here. I'm going to look this up afterwards so I can, like, better use all these characters then. Ooh, what I should actually do as well is I could probably grind some Moon Matter chips so she can use them, so that Shulk and Fiora can use them as well. So I'm going to do some grinding off stream as well for these characters. Let's go to rarity. Let's just give her... Oh, I don't know. Let's just say we give her... Yeah, why not? You can have this. Enjoy it. Where are you, Shulk? Here, you can have this as well. Boom. Big autos. There we go. Like I said, if you want more content in this game, there's so much more content out there. And it's really the only JRPG or RPG in general where I felt like I wanted to 100% it. Normally, when I beat the main story of a game, like Final Fantasy 7, 10, whatever, I haven't even beaten the main story for 10, so I don't know why I said that. But whenever I beat the main story for a JRPG, I lose the motivation to do the endgame that I had beforehand. With 2, I don't have that. I just feel like I want to play this game more. So let's do Temperentian Standoff. We're just going to do this one real quick. Because this shouldn't take that long. But again, there's something about Xenoblade combat. It has a flow to it, a rhythm, if you will, that is so fun and rewarding. So let's go down here. Level 80, huh? Just gonna, like, right off the bat. So let's do this. Boom. I'm gonna try and do my side attacks here. I'm going to put up photons. So essentially the game has a very in-depth elemental system. So when you use an elemental system that goes up in rank, you put a seal on the enemy that you can essentially... Okay, I died immediately there. So that was cool. Gonna do this on stream, by the way. Oh, cool, I'm back up. I can play again. Oof! Okay, that was a bit rough, bit rude, bit mean, unkind, and uncalled for, even. So, that was not the best example. But I should probably just make a separate video on the combat itself. Because if I don't, I'm just going to keep on going. I expect a lot of Xenoblade content in the on the channel next month or two. Because I want to break this series down to its components. Because there's so many pieces that work together to make the experience so much more fun. And combat's one of them, where I don't mind grinding if the combat is fun. And I don't mind grinding if I feel like I'm working towards something palpable. And in this game, I am. Because I'm making the blades more fun. I'm making them do more. Like, with Miss Mithra, she works off of crit. So when I got her more crit, her rotation just worked better. You have driver combos, which allow you to basically chain stun the enemy. You have blade combos, which work off of the pairing different elements up and using those elemental abilities in certain orders to get different effects, which is really fun to mix and match. And then when you have those seals up, you can do a massive chain attack to manipulate the seals you put on the enemy to do extraordinary amounts of damage. There's multiple elements to this combat where it's not one-dimensional. There's many facets to it that work together, that flow together, that make them more fun. You have more time to do the blade combo if you do a driver combo throughout, because it elongates the period of time that you have to put up the blade combo. It works together. And it's just fun. The stats you use can augment and make your build stronger. Like, one of the best builds in this game is literally using Mithra on Rex and using 2 common blades instead of these 2 that I'm using right now that give you an agility mod, so you can stack agility a lot, so that Mithra essentially becomes an evasion-focused tank. So you don't get hit ever. The one I'm using is a crit-based Mithra, where the crits heal you. So I may take a lot of damage, but I crit on almost every other hit. I have an attack that attacks twice. And every crit I do heals me for a ton of health. Which, sure, isn't the most min-max strat. Like, the best Mithra build min-max is technically the evasion tank one, but you don't need it for most of the game. There's so many different builds you can do. I made my Morag an evasion-focused tank, but I put a little twist on that. Because look at the block rate for my... hold on, let me fix this. Look at the block rate for my blades for Morag. 58%, 46%, 58%. Agility mod, agility mod, agility mod. My Morag dodges a lot of attacks, and even when they get through, the block rate is so high, she'll block them anyways. It's really cool. Like, this is got kind of customization I love in RPGs. And then you have my Zeke, which is essentially, I'm going to put out a bunch of damage. If I get hit once, I'm dead, though. My Zeke is the definition of a glass cannon. He cannot take damage worth of crap. He'll die in like 2 hits. Like, a gentle breeze will knock him over. But he's going to do so much damage. Like, oh my god. Like, I have a Zenobia who deals more damage if the enemy is a higher level, so she's really good against super bosses. Pandoya is just vibes and does electricity elements. My Cosmos, though, who isn't even, like, geared to the 9s yet, can put out so much damage in blade combos and in chain attacks. And I can customize this because all of this is dependent upon what blades I have, because that gives me different weapons. And even those weapons have 4 odds. And I can only use 3. So even then, on a per weapon basis, you have customization. It's really cool. It's really in-depth. You can really make these characters feel like your own. Especially with Tor, because these characters are completely customizable. You can change what role they are. You can change what element they use. You can change what art cards they have. What these do. All of this. You can make them utility-based. You can make them pure damage. You can change the type of damage. I can make them do more damage indoors, outdoors, against certain types of enemies, like humanoids, titans, insects, whatever. I can make them do more damage from the front, from the side, from the back. There's so much customization here. Like, look at this. I don't even have all of these. And sure, the acquisition sucks, but once you have them, there's so much customization here. There's so much in-depth stuff you can just play around with and make the characters fun and feel like your own. And even if you want to follow a guide, that gives you a checklist of things that you want to do, and I'm someone that likes having that kind of checklist. I like knowing I have a BIS list, I can go out and get them. I like knowing that. And I like being able to choose that. It's really cool. It's really fun. And then you can choose which character you play as. I'm personally of the opinion that if you don't play as Rex, you're an idiot. That's my personal opinion. You can play as any of these characters, though, because they are all as good as you build them to be. Because you can swap which character has which blade. So if I wanted to put Cosmos on Rex, I could, but Cosmos gets different abilities and gets different auto attack timers. So even then, on a per driver basis, these blades play differently and give you different abilities. There's so much here, and it's so much fun to play around with. So yeah, Xenoblade 2 has a lot of issues. A lot of things I hope they iron out in the sequel with Xenoblade 3. But the strengths of 2 are so good. And they fit what I look for in RPGs so well. Where it's easily a top 5 game of all time for me. Because I haven't even talked about the story yet. Oh my god, it's so good. But like I said, that will come. The day where I talk about this game's story will come. It's coming. Don't forget it. It's inevitable. It's like Thanos, it's inevitable. But instead of dying to Tony Stark at the end, he'll come back. I love this game. I love this franchise. I'm so looking forward to 3. And I'm going to have to replay Torna again. Just to like refresh my memory. And I know I'm not emotionally prepared for that ending again. Because again, the music's so good. Oh, every element of this game. Music, story, gameplay, environment, set pieces, characterization, character development, controls, questing, world building. It's all so good. And those are the main things I look for. And it's all so good. So yeah, I just wanted to really gush about this game for about 30 minutes, I guess. So I hope I made some sense there, and that the video was enjoyable for you all. I absolutely got clapped in the freaking combat challenge, but like I said, we'll be doing some of those on stream in the next few days, because I want to get Elma, because I want to get every blade. So yeah, Xenoblade 2 is so much fun. Yeah, it has its issues, and sure, the combat takes a freaking age and a half to get going and get fun, because you need to, because it elongates how long it takes to get all the tools. And yeah, that's a legit criticism that I hope they fix in 3. Because it takes way too long on your first playthrough for this game to get really good gameplay-wise. But once it does, oh my god, it grips you. And I love it so much. Thank you all for tuning in. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Xenoblade 2. I completely understand why people have their opinions of this game. and why they have their critiques of it. I completely do. I understand them, and I do think they're valid criticisms that deserve to be talked about, that deserve to be brought into the light and discussed. And it looks like they took those criticisms to heart from what we have seen with 3 so far. And I couldn't be happier. But I feel like the benefits of 2 are so good. So leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Thank you for tuning in. While you're down there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Hell, if you dislike the video, leave a dislike. And leave a comment down below why, because I want to give me that valid criticism. Yeah? Tell me. Let me know. I eat it up. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.